Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Our text for today is the Gospel just read, taken from St. Mark, chapter 7. It's not about hygiene. Let's kind of get that out of our head right away. Jesus is not telling his disciples that they are to be uncouth and to walk around with unwashed hands and just be gross. This is not what Jesus is saying. The Jews in Jesus' day had a ton of ritual washings that they would do. These washings that would be there to separate them from the Gentiles. They had washings before and after meals. They had washings when they had gone out into the city and came back. Jesus or Mark even observes that they had washings for their dining couches. So there's a lot of washing going on. But it wasn't simply about making sure that there wasn't any dust on their hands from the road. This was a way of separating them, of saying, I am not like you. And to use Pilate's sort of language and image, I wash my hands of you. This is no part of me. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, how do we use our religiosity? How do we use our Christianity, our faith, as a cover-up for our own prejudice and fear? Well, now that's a hard question, isn't it? How is it that when we gather together and when we kind of live our lives day after day, the very things that we do sometimes as Christians, we may actually be doing some of them because they don't want to deal with other people's sins and problems. Sometimes we confuse the sin with the sinner. I'm not a fan of cliches, but there is a little bit to the saying, love the sin, hate the sinner. In other words, because someone... Did I say that? To say that you're paying attention. That's why I don't like cliches. Let's try that again. Hate the sin, love the sinner. That sounds good. Very good. We do confuse the sin and the sinner. Because I reject what someone is doing as wrong, how do I then reject them as a person? Recognizing that they are still a child of God, that Jesus still died on the cross for them. Well, that's a lot harder, isn't it? How is it that we make up new sins, new things to divide us apart from one another? We can sometimes sort of create standards or have images or impressions in our minds of, this is what a Christian that I associate with is like. They look like this. They act like this. They speak like this. Their skin looks like this or this or this. Whatever it may be, we can create barriers that simply do not exist in the gospel. And we can use that as a way of covering up our own sin. We may even think our own holiness is what makes us worthy to be in God's presence. Now, we aren't going to say that out loud, but it's there. I go to church. I do good stuff, mostly. Therefore, I must belong here. I should be here because I am, after all, basically a good person. Unlike those others who somehow appear more broken than I am. In other words, we tend to use the law of God to protect us from getting messy. We can use the law of God to protect us from engaging with the poor, with the broken, with those in need, with those who don't look or act just like we think they should. And we can use our own man-made traditions as a way of creating those barriers. We all do it. We all do it. So what is the washing that comes from God? Not simple washing on the outside. Although we know perfectly well our Lord uses water, doesn't he? Holy baptism. But it is a washing that truly cleanses. Create in me a clean heart, O God, as we pray in the Psalms. What this means is recognizing what true sin is according to God's word and what it isn't. And before anything else, before we put on our judgment hat, that this applies to me first and foremost, and that I learn to repent and know that God's mercy is for me before anyone else. The way that Jesus deals with this, of course, is by his own death and resurrection. It is no accident that the story of our Lord's death and resurrection is messy. It's yucky. I think that's the theological term. It's not clean or clean. It's dirty because sin is dirty. And because in order to cleanse you, our Lord had to become sin for us, as St. Paul puts it. That's what this is really about. It's about the cleansing that can only come from God. The cleansing that says, you are washed. You are clean. Not simply an external cleanliness, not simply how we look on the outside, but you are truly clean. Because Jesus Christ has come and has taken on your sin and death. And is risen from the dead and forgives you your sins. Now that changes how you look at other people. Because you know what? They're messy too. And you know where it comes from. Because you are them. One and the same. Redeemed by the blood of Jesus Christ. Be an instrument of cleansing and of healing for other people. Not because you must, but because you are free. I was trying to come up with a cute analogy to put here. And as we know, I don't do cliches or cute analogies. The closest that I could come up with was, in order to clean, something has to get dirty. A clean mop is a mop that is unused. A clean rag is a rag that hasn't been doing its work, or has been doing its work and had to be cleansed over and over and over again. I think that's an interesting picture. Don't be an unused mop. Don't be the one who is pristine and perfect and on the shelf. Because that's not where God has placed you. God has placed you here in the midst of unwashed sinners. And he has put his words in your lips and on your heart so that it can actually go out and do what God's word promises to do. So come. You are clean. You are forgiven. You have been washed in the blood of the Lamb and have been made whiter than snow. Come and eat and receive the meal. For Christ himself loves you and draws you to himself. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. And now the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep your hearts and minds in true faith to life everlasting. Amen. We rise and